Good afternoon, everyone. I declare this an open meeting of the Town of Barnstable Board of Health for Tuesday, September 27th, 2022. Roll call, please.
Is Sharon there?
Sarah has to unmute. You're muted, Sharon.
Sorry, okay. John Norman.
Here.
Dr. Guadagnoli.
Here.
Mr. Lee.
Here.
Dr. Leskow. Dr. Caniff.
Here.
And Dr. Waller.
Mm.
So
Alrighty, that we have quorum. I have to read this, the notice of recording. This meeting of the Barnstable Board of Health will be recorded and transmitted by the Information Technology Department of the Town of Barnstable on Channel 18. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, anyone else desiring to make such a recording or transmission must notify the chair. Is there anyone else recording this meeting? Seeing no one, we can open up the first item on the agenda. This is a innovative alternative septic system request. Chuck Rowland, representing Sullivan Engineering, representing Jane and Steve Hawk, owner of 180 Carriage Road, Osterville, map parcel 071-015. This is a 1.63 acre parcel, currently has 8 bedrooms, system proposing the use of a Clean 2 Nitro-E waste system treatment and requesting a variance from the saltwater estuary protection to allow an additional bedroom for a total of 9 bedrooms. Good afternoon, Mr. Rowland.
Good afternoon. Could everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Chuck Rowland, Sullivan Engineering Consulting. I've been made a co-host, so if you would like, I'll put the plan up on the screen for you, and I'll kind of go through my narrative real quick, and then I'll kind of address any questions that you guys might have. So again, Chuck Rowland, Sullivan Engineering Consulting. I'm representing the Hoax at 180 Carriage Road. The site consists of about 80,755 square feet of land abutting West Bay. The site's developed with a single-family dwelling, attached garage, pool, and pool house, which is under construction, and all associated appurtenances. Presently, the site is has a permitted and installed Title V 8-bedroom septic system. The applicant is requesting to review of an IA system, the Clean 2 Nitro wastewater treatment system, along with a variance from the Town of Barnstable, Chapter 360-35, the saltwater estuary protection area for an additional future bedroom. The Nitro wastewater treatment system has a provisional use permit from the Mass DEP, and the Clean 2 system is operating with a 90% reduction of total nitrogen, which is the mean or the median rather that they're reaching at pretty much all their sites. This reduction in loading will reduce the nitrogen loading from the site into the Three Bays area, which has seen dramatic reduction in water quality in recent years due to wastewater runoff. And I don't know if you guys have reviewed the rest of the application, but I think I sent you a fairly extensive application for this. So if we go to the plan here, can everyone see the plan?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Whenever I share my screen, it tends to move a little slow, so you got to bear with me for a second here. So this is kind of the overall plan. We have the existing house, the pool cabana, which is under construction, and the proposed pool. This is the existing SAS, which is all constructed and approved, as well as the existing septic tank. And what we're doing is proposing to add in the 2 tanks for the Clean 2 system right here. In order to make it all fit, we're going to have to move the D-box to here and do some repiping. If you would this will work, go faster. And then I have a detailed plan over here of the systems. So here are the two tanks. They'll need an aeration blower up here close to the house. So this is called a submerged aeration tank. And then this is the denitrification chamber. And actually, typically for the smaller units, for the smaller sites, there's only one tank, but due to the amount of flow and the size and the capacity of the bedrooms, so it's I think it's over 6, you need 2 tanks as opposed to 1. And then we're not seeking approval from you guys, but we can just apply for this with the septic permit, but we'll also be putting the H20 1,500 gallon tank in its own D box for the pool house over on this side. Tom had mentioned that there was a couple of things I should go over. The 80,755 square feet for the lot comes from the surveyor, Cape Serve, who actually surveyed the site. I think when we were filling out the application, we put the GIS information on there. We feel that the information provided by the surveyor is much more accurate than the town GIS information. And we do know that it does only have a provisional use permit, but I think they're working towards getting a general use permit. And I think that the system has shown for several years now that it works very well. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Great, thank you, Chuck. We'll do a public first. This is a public hearing. If there's any members of the public that are tuned in that would like to comment or add anything to this application, please make yourself known. Hearing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Staff report on this?
Staff has no objections, but I do know that at least one board member had some questions. The size of the lot was a discrepancy. And Chuck Rowland answers to that it is 80,000 square feet, not 71,000. Even though assessors says, even though the assessors list as 1.63 acres, in the variance request form that was submitted by the applicant says 1.63 acres, but Chuck assured us it's 80,755 square feet property. The second issue, Nitro is in the, you can see according to their DEP letter, they are under provisional use approval renewal at this time. They don't have general use approval. And I don't see anywhere in the documentation where they would allow someone to add a bedroom or extra credit using a Nitro system. So my suggestion would not to vote affirmative on this at this time, unless you have a, unless there's a plan. What I mean by plan, unless you have a conditional approval where you can't obtain a permit until the system has credit approval from DEP for additional bedrooms. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Tom. Members of the board, any comments or questions?
Yeah, I have a question, a couple of questions. And my question to Tom was about that 1.63 acres, which is about 71,000 square feet, and the 80,000. And I think that's been answered pretty eloquently. And the other question I had is, or one other one was, there's a separate septic system for the garage. Is that correct, Chuck?
It is, as far as I know, that has been either abandoned or removed. The one on the north side of the site, and I'll show you. I think it was left over from before they put in this new system right here is this old system, and I can confirm that it has been properly abandoned or removed. But as far as I know for a fact because I actually looked at it, but they actually reversed this plumbing right here. They had some issues coming out right here. I'm pretty sure they had to run it back inside the house to come out right here. So it's no longer in use, and I can confirm that it's.
All right. And the 3 bedrooms that are in the garage are then hooked into the main system.
Everything is running here and here right now, and we're going to be putting in this tank right here. So everything's flowing into this leach field right here.
All right, that I think that's all of my questions.
Tom,
John,
Lee, I saw your hand up.
John, I got a couple of comments.
Go ahead,
Can I
Tom.
Number one, I look at the assessor data, and they kind of saying that there is no sewer planned for this area under the CWMP. So that's one. And secondly, I took a total nitrogen calculations without the nitro for the 8 bedrooms. That's about 48.6 kilograms per year nitrogen load. But if you're using the nitro with the 9 bedrooms, that's only like 15. So there is like almost 70% now total nitrogen reductions with 1 additional bedrooms. So based on that, I'm okay with the 1 additional bedroom. I only using 11 milligrams per liter for under the provisional use permit. I did not using the 8 milligrams per liter what they have claimed. I just based on what is approved under the provisional use permit.
Thank you. Anyone else with any comments or questions?
I have,
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Did I hear someone else?
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question again. What happens if the provisional use that is in effect now does not get upgraded? They just can't use the system? Or are they going to be allowed, if we approve it, they'll be allowed to add another bedroom without the system? I think
They won't. Under the provisional permitting, once it's granted by the local board of health, they can keep it. It's not like it has to be removed if it doesn't get general permitting.
Well, then maybe I think we should wait to add bedrooms until it gets a regular approval. Anyhow.
John,
I had a question. I had a couple questions, Chuck.
Sure.
The proposed sunroom and the proposed pool cabana. What is going in there that has to be tied into the septic system?
It's going to be like a wet bar type thing. Bathroom on the south side as well, actually.
So it's black water. It's not gray water.
Yeah.
So why aren't you trying to tie that in upstream of the Nitro E? Because that will capture all of the black water on the property. You've got right now, a proposed tank and then going directly into the existing, after a D-box, obviously, going into the existing SAS. So everything coming from that will not be treated. Was there a reason behind that?
Yeah, the reason is it becomes very cost prohibitive to try to do that, to run that into the Clean 2 system. The pitches, they just don't work. So it would require an additional pump chamber to pump it into here. With that being said, what is it really being used for? I mean, it's not a bedroom, so it doesn't actually have Title V flow. It's only a pool cabana. So it's going to be used, a handful of weekends a year, I predict. And so I highly doubt there would be many showers in there. I highly doubt it'll be, the bathroom will experience much flow, and I don't think that it would add much for the cost of putting in a pump chamber to make it work.
I think the amount of flow calculation that you'll get out of that versus an H20 1,500 gallon tank underneath the driveway, an H20 D-box, one of the tank and the D-box lids will have to be brought up to grade with a metal cover. I think you probably would find that it would be cheaper to put in a small, like 1,000 gallon H10 off the driveway pump chamber, and then just a 2-inch line. You're going to be digging up that whole center anyways, going back
Well, you would have
and running into that existing H20 septic tank, the 2,000 gallon tank, before it gets treated. I mean, then that way the whole site, goes into the calculations that Tom was talking about as far as the massive reduction in nitrogen load.
So for that to work, you would have to put a tank in addition to, you'd have to put the pump chamber in addition to the septic tank, because you can't have.
No, you could do a grinder pump.
Right, but so not only would you have to put in the H20 septic tank, and you would have to put in an H20 pump chamber with a grinder pump, because you can only have a pump chamber after a septic tank, unless you wanted to go for an ejector pump, which is inside the building.
Just a consideration. I agree with you. There's not going to be much flow if there's no bedroom out there. It's just a wet bar and a bathroom. But yeah. Okay, their choice. As far as my opinion goes, the DEP regulation does not specifically talk about adding bedrooms, but it doesn't specifically deny adding a bedroom. And right. I agree with Tom Lee. I mean, this is an opportunity for a massive reduction in nitrogen load in a very sensitive area. I mean, this is on the bay there. I mean, these are the homes that have been, kind of spoken about for a long time as being the ones where, there's not much time that goes by before these nitrogen goes directly into this bay. We're not talking about a house that's, 5,000 or 6,000 feet from the bay. We're talking about a house that's literally on the bay. And, as a board member, I'd like to, enlist kind of a carrot, versus the stick mentality, where we're encouraging people to put these type of systems in. I don't think the additional bedroom's gonna add much flow here, because I understand it's a calculation system, but like we've discussed many times on this board, and Tom Lee has talked about, it's the flow on the property. I don't think these people are going to not invite a grandson or a granddaughter to come stay with them because they don't have the extra bedroom to house them. They're still going to come. They're just going to double up in a room or triple up in a room. And I think the flow is still going to be the same, no matter how many bedrooms you put out there. It's the point of discharge that we should focus on. And to me, an opportunity, because I would hate for us to reject this and then they decide, well, we're not going to add a bedroom. We'll just leave the system as is. That's a massive nitrogen load going right into that bay. Legally, they've got the 10,000 square foot per bedroom. But I'd be more inclined to approve this with the added bedroom as a carrot mentality to encourage this type of behavior for people out there that are like, I'll put the Nitro E in, we're getting great results from it. And then all of a sudden we get the general permit approved on these, and everybody's queued up to put a lot of these in. So I'd more lean the other way in my approval that this would be a project that I think would be a perfect application for the Nitro E systems and the tremendous numbers that we're seeing from these systems so far. But I would entertain, more discussion on this by board members.
John, if I could just say one thing. Thanks, Tom. I guess I'd like to, it seems like we've had some data from around Schubel's Pond that has raised some questions about how the nitro systems are functioning, particularly in houses that aren't occupied all year round. I don't know how that's going to play out. It certainly seems like in the end, the systems are going to be very effective and reduce the nitrogen, but we will be setting a precedent if we agree to adding extra bedrooms because of adding a nitro system. And before we do that, it might be more responsible if we at least have a year or two of data from the system to back that decision. So I'm suggesting, like, provisionally, assuming that the numbers show a decrease in nitrogen coming out of the system, that in 2 years you can put on the extra bedroom.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I think that this is a, you know, they're under construction, so it's like, let's get stuff done while the property is torn up. I think that if we deny this permit and they just leave the septic system, put on the cabana as of right, because it's not adding a bedroom, and you're increasing a little bit of flow there, that they're just gonna do this pool, the cabana, the sunroom, and leave it an 8-bedroom. And
Right.
I don't think they're gonna come back to us 2 years from now and say, oh, we read in the paper that the DEP gave general permitting. I think it's one of these things where it's under construction, it's all torn up anyways, let's do this now. So I personally don't want to lose this opportunity to significantly reduce the nitrogen load on this property's effect on the bay. And correct me if I'm wrong, I'd like to hear from Tom Lee, but I know other systems, we've got data that shows on a denitrification that if it doesn't have consistent flow, the numbers don't necessarily work as well. But for the Nitro E, I don't think we've seen any numbers yet. It's just too new on whether occupancy and consistent flow is affecting them.
Tom wanted to say something before I make any additional comment. Tom, go ahead.
Over the past years, I've seen at least 3 new technologies that didn't perform as we thought. And the most recent, George Hoyfelder will tell you his own experience with a layer cake that was good the first year, and then the next year it didn't do as well. And so we do have to be careful, in my opinion. And but the only reason I was raising my hand, John, too, was everyone understands the 9th bedroom at this point, I'm told, is imaginary. There's no drawing of the 9th bedroom anywhere submitted. We don't know where it's going to go, what it's going to look like, but it's imaginary at this point. It's not in this plan. We all understand that, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't spend the money on an architect designing a bedroom if it's not going to get approved.
Right.
So, and you know, as long as I really could care less where they put the bedroom or what it looks like. It's going to be classified a bedroom. They can make it as big or small as they want.
Right. No, I understand. Sometimes we get plans that show more rooms than just a bedroom. That's why I'm saying that. But anyway, I just wanted to say that I agree that we should be careful. That's my comment. Thank you.
So if I could come up with a solution that might ease everyone's thoughts on this and setting precedents and so forth, is would you be willing to approve the project, as in putting in the Clean 2 system today, with a condition in the permit that says that the future bedroom will be permitted when the Clean 2 system receives a general permit? So that way you're no longer, you know, and it's just a trigger. So that way nobody has to come back to the board to have a discussion. It's just, as of today, we have an approved 8 bedrooms. And as soon as the Clean 2 system is approved for general permit, we get the 9th.
And
I think-
your client would be fine with that?
Yes, I kind of predicted a discussion like this, so we.
I think that
Yeah.
would be wonderful.
Okay, hold on a second. Tom Lee, go ahead.
Chuck, I got a couple questions. Number one, is this a full-time use or seasonal use?
I think that as of right now, it's seasonal, but I can't tell you 100% with certainty, and I think that things change from year to year, and so I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay. So, so based on the previous data that the Nitro has provided under the Barnstable Clean Water Coalitions, if it is a full-time use, the performance is very good in terms of reducing down to less than 10 milligrams per liter. But if it is a part-time use, it may not be getting to that level. That's why when I calculate my total nitrogen load, I was based on the 11 milligrams per liter. The other things I agree with John that you should take a look at the options as far as pumping the flow from your cabana area into the front end of the tank, of the septic tank. That way you get all the flows that you can get. You can look at the options, whether it's going to be a E1 grinder station and stuff like that. You can look at, I think E1 station is an option that you may not need a septic tank and just go directly into the, the 2,000 gallon tank with the E1. I mean, if you say that your flow is so low, then E1 can handle that. And
is it E1 inside the building?
You can put it outside.
Okay.
Yeah, Chuck, the E1 systems are used on all of those Stewart Creek sewer connections that didn't have the elevation necessary. So they put grinder pumps on every single lot.
Right. Yeah.
We'll definitely look into that.
Yeah.
There's something to consider. It would be, really great to have all of the black water on this property treated.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I've always been under the impression that you, to have a external pump, you had to pump it after a tank. But if you're telling me no, then I will make sure that I explore that option.
A lot of the condo unit or the single homes and stuff like that has the E1 outside the house and go directly into either another lift stations to fight the elevation change. So.
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now. It's great. Thank you. I'll look into that.
I think that's very nice of Chuck to have thought to get permission from his owner to do that. I think that's wonderful.
So Chuck, what is the time frames you're working with? Because it sounds like there might be a couple of changes to the tank and the D box that'll be servicing the proposed cabana and pool house sunroom, and also it seems like, and we'll have some further discussion from any other board members to get their opinion. It seems like there's a willingness to grant this with that condition that you spoke about, that the extra bedroom would not be permitted for construction until the Nitro E system has a general permit approval from Mass DEP. Is that what I'm kind of surmising from everyone's discussions here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, my only thought is that if you could approve the project as it's proposed, and then I will obviously look into trying to change the proposed septic tank for the cabana into a tank. I'll have to check in with my client, obviously, but I can't. They seemed pretty happy with the tank going right in, but if I'm just requesting that not be a condition of you approving the Clean 2 system and the additional future bedroom.
I mean, it's not make or break for me because it's just servicing, a wet bar and probably a bathroom. So it's not like it's a tremendous amount of flow. It's just my preference would be to have the whole property treated, all of the black water treated. So that would be my preference. But if there's a time,
it's also a time constraint. I know that the contractor is itching to get this the site work done, so that way they can bring in some more finished construction projects and finish the pool. So they're hoping to finish the site quickly.
All right, so I would entertain a motion then, from what I'm hearing from some of the board members, to approve this request with the condition that the bedroom permit not be issued until DEP, Mass DEP issues a general permit approval for the Nitro E system.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion.
Well,
Second.
and then I want to make a discussion asking the applicant really looking into the E1 stations to do that.
I will look into it.
Okay, and if you submit that plan, Chuck, with the changes, they can approve that at the desk there. You don't have to come back to us for either option, but
That'd
we
be
would
great.
prefer, and Tom will make a note on that when they come in for their permit for construction of the Nitro E system, that we would prefer that cabana and pool sunroom be pumped directly into the first 2,000-gallon septic tank before it goes into the Nitro E.
Yeah, thanks so much for considering that, Chuck, because it looks like a beautiful property, big property. I see some big parties. I see a lot of people at the pool. I see a lot of people not bothering to go back to the house, you know, and using the facilities out by the pool, where there could be temporarily pretty high flow coming out of that bathroom. But I think that sounds great. But John, I think we have a motion and a second.
Did I get a second? Okay,
You did.
we have a motion.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Sharon, roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Dr. Guagnoli,
Yes.
Dr. Leskow,
Yes.
Dr. Caniff,
Yes.
and then Mr. Norman.
Yes.
All right, that's unanimous. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Chuck.
Chuck, for your presentation.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
The next item on the agenda, this is body artist tattooing only. Michael Ramasco is applying as a new body artist tattooing to work with Mark Corliss, owner of Spilt Milk Tattoo, 548 Main Street, Hyannis, map parcel 308-074-00C. He has taken the Mass Tattoo and Art Festival Skin Disease Seminar for tattooists on March 18th, 2011, and has worked in Rhode Island. Mark, are you here still?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Corliss from Spilt Milk. How are you guys?
How you doing, Mark?
Excellent, thank you.
Why don't you give us the rationale for this?
Basically, John, Michael's been tattooing about 15 years. He's a very, very, very high level expert tattooer, if you will. The course that you guys now do offer or do accept, the skin course, he took a version of it 12 years ago. He's been tattooing, I believe, between 15 and 16 years now. Extremely professional. I wouldn't want to invite him into my establishment. I've been with you guys 20 years if he wasn't the highest level of professionalism. So I was just hoping for you guys to accept the course that he did take. He works at he's just coming for a couple days to work with us to see if he likes Cape Cod and he likes the area. He works at a world-renowned studio in Rhode Island. So, I mean, he's coming from the higher end of the tattoo world. So I just wanted to see if you guys would accept. He has everything else. He took a course, an anatomy and skin course back at a tattoo convention in 2011.
Okay, thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Any members of the public that would like to speak on this matter, please make yourself known. Hearing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Staff report on this?
On April 26, 2022, this past year, the Board of Health adopted amendments to their body art regulation. It requires the legal department reviewed this before it was adopted. A minimum of 6 hours of anatomy and physiology coursework, which includes the integumentary skin system with a final exam. I don't have any information about this applicant other than certificate at a festival, and I don't know how many hours the training was. I don't know if there was a final exam, but if it doesn't meet the regulation, then I would not recommend approval. This regulation was just adopted, and to grant to already have a variance months after it was adopted is opening up the to more of these types of requests in the future. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, members of the board, any comments or questions?
I would agree with our health director.
Could you
But
repeat that? I couldn't hear.
I mean, it seems like the gentleman would only have to do a one-day course. Is that right, Thomas?
Yes, it's a one-day course.
So, I mean, would Mr. Corliss, would this gentleman be willing to do that one-day course?
Yes, sir. He's totally willing to do that one. We weren't under the impression that I myself obviously made a mistake. I thought the skin course he took would be sufficient. I didn't know it was a specific time and stuff like that. So we had set him up to come visit us in October, just for a 2-day period to see if it worked out for him. So we then contacted the course that I was the one that recommended it to you guys that you accept. We contacted them, and they didn't have anything probably until November that he could take. And then by the time the next board meeting is, it would be December. So we were just trying to see if it would be appropriate for, someone of his experience to be, accepted to come to Hyannis for 2 days.
Tom, do we have any mechanism where we can grant like a 7-day license or a 5-day license? If he comes, he works for a few days for Mark and decides he doesn't like Cape Cod, doesn't want to live here, and he goes back, we haven't made them the expense of the course. If he comes here and he loves Cape Cod, wants to stay here, then I think he'd be motivated to go take the course and then meet the regulation that we created. So I didn't know if there was any type of a short term, like a permit we could create for 1 week or 5 days or something that would just allow him to come do his thing. He sounds like he's got a tremendous amount of experience, but I'm just throwing out some ideas.
That's a good idea. The board has the authority to grant that's a good idea. A variance for a 1-week variance or something like that, and conditional or however you want to word it. That's fine.
Thank you.
Are there any other members of the board that have any ideas or think that might be a rational compromise?
No, that's a good compromise for this. Give him a chance to kind of come in and learn the environment and working down on the Cape here before, taking the dive into taking the class.
I would agree. I think it's a reasonable compromise, and I think it's a lot better than recognizing a course that I agree with what Tom said. I'm not sure we want to set a precedent.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be willing to do something permanent, but it sounds like, he may come here, decide he doesn't want to stay and work here and leave. But if he's willing to work and stay here, then I think he'd be willing to take the course and get signed up and meet our requirements.
I feel the same way.
Yep.
I guess, Mark, the other option, I don't know if you can get the information about the course that he took. That might not be possible at this point.
No, we actually did, sir. In the course was lighter than the one that is offered now.
Oh, okay.
It was done by a tattoo artist, actually, which is really good because it's someone with direct knowledge in the field.
Sure.
But Sharon and I did speak to the gentleman, and it was not. There wasn't a test, and it wasn't the full 6 hours like the one is now.
I'm still certainly comfortable with a temporary permit.
Thank you. Yeah, he's very experienced. I would not. You guys know me for years. I would never, invite someone into our home here to, that wasn't 100% qualified. I have a 100%, trust in his ability.
So are you going to be working?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Don.
Mark, are you going to be working with him when he's there also?
Yes, sir. If the studio is open, I'm here.
Okay.
Mark, would 5 days be comfortable or 7?
That's
or
great. I
would
mean,
it-
he's just coming for 2. John, you know, it's very hard to get housing on the Cape. He needs to, you know, people need to come here and say, hey, how does this work? Is this the right move for me? So he just wanted to come down, test the waters, and then if he loves it, we'll send him to the course. And he'll probably do the course anyways. It's not a bad idea to have it under your belt.
All right. Well, I think we'll let you and Tom staff work out the exact dates of the 5. We'll do I'll propose a 5-day window of variance to the regulation. And you can submit the exact dates with Tom's staff, and they can figure out that 5-day window when that is. So I would entertain a motion to approve a 5-day variance from from our regulation requirements for a tattoo artist to work for Michael Ramasco to work under Mark Corliss at Spilt Milk Tattoo.
Awesome. Thank you. John, one more question. So everything, he comes here, he loves it, everything's great, and he wants to come more at even at a part-time at first. I'll send him to do the course that's required. And then should I come back, or is that something I could bring to Sharon to then have him?
I think once they get past the course, it's as of right, correct? You're muted.
Normally
Yes,
they just come before
yes.
the board, so we just
You are
make-
correct. The variance is not needed. However, every applicant comes before the board just as your just a procedural stamp of approval. Is that what you're saying, Sharon? I believe that's.
Yeah, Mark. So yeah, the normal procedure would still be in check mark.
Okay,
For once,
bring him back.
if he
Gotcha.
decides to stay, if he decides to become permanent, get the certification, and then it just comes before us just for the approval.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you very much. I appreciate the flexibility.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Norman,
Yes.
Tom Lee,
Yes.
Dr. Guignoli,
Yes.
Dr. Lesko,
Yes.
Dr. Canna,
Yes.
unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank
luck,
you.
Mark.
Thank you very much.
Good luck going forward, Mark. The last item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from August 23rd, 2022. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes? Are any comments, questions, or omissions or add-ons anyone wants to do?
No, it's
Move
not
to
fine.
approve.
I have a motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Norman,
Yes.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Dr. Guignoli,
Yes.
Dr. Lesko,
Yes.
Dr. Canna.
Yes.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
Second.
moved. Second?
I have a motion to adjourn and a second. Roll call, please.
Hey, Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Dr. Guignoli,
Yes.
Dr. Lesko,
Yes.
Dr. Canna,
Yes.
Mr. Norman.
Yes.
It's unanimous. We will see you all later.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.